So when we dropped the gas tank down, we were cleaning it up and started getting all the undercoating off. There were a few places where the gas tank was dinged up, and before we painted it, we were just gonna fill in a few of the dents so it looks like a perfect gas tank. So we just bondoed up a few of these dingers in here, and then we'll prime it and we're gonna paint it. So right here took a knock right here, and then it went across here and there, and there's little dingers all around, but just trying to get it so when you look up, I mean, who's looking at a gas tank? It doesn't have to be that perfect, but you try to get it to look, you know, like the ribs, and then nobody will even notice it. Okay, we got another new shop tool, and it's a body saw. This is a cheapy one, bought from China, and we're about to find out how it works. Now, there's plenty of times you'd want to do this because a cutoff wheel does nice straight lines, and you can work up to the line that you made, but sparks are flying all over the place, and sometimes you're going to be in a place where you don't want sparks wrecking your glass and all that. You just want to get in and take corners. Chop saw, you know, a cutoff wheel can only do straight lines, and you might have to take a little 90-degree corner. So we're going to see how this thing works. So it's supposed to have 10,000 strokes a minute. And it uses a set screw on each side to hold the blade in. And it was oiled up already, so we're going to see how this works. I think it works nice. He was worried that it was going to be just like a Harbor Freight tool and it was harder to send back. But I think it works good. I never saw a galvanized strap before. All I ever saw was steel ones that were all rotted, and you go to drop them down, and all of a sudden they'd break right here. They were so rusty in Wisconsin. I've had them where they were connected to the tank. You pull the strap down, all of a sudden the gas tank starts leaking.
So we got them cleaned up. We're gonna put them in some primer and paint.
So a lot of times when you're watching somebody doing a project, especially on TV, it's nice to see progress really done fast. You know how much work it takes to get something done. It's cool with the technology of TV. You can see a car that was like the Foose crew gets 7 days and they make a car get done, and all you really want to see is the finished project. And I know it's been taking a long time for all of us to get anything done on here, but the weather is so darn cold. In this place there's just a heat pump, and if it's below 10 degrees you won't even get any heat. So we haven't even touched it for a week. I had a cold for 3 weeks, so a lot of excuses, but we'll get back to it and start getting something out there so you can see some progress. We ended up taking the rubber seals off because somebody put some brand new rubber seals in here. And then we're going to take this chrome off. When you take this off, then this is a separate piece right here. Looks really naked once you get this off. But we'll get this out of the way so when you're doing sanding, you don't go across it and wreck it. This should have been body work to be closer, and you're supposed to have a seam sealer so water doesn't sit. But it would come out at the bottom, hopefully. But that's a way, if it holds water, it's another place to make rust. It should have been sealed up right here. So the way this window strip seal is mounted is these little push pins or Christmas trees. You gotta have a special little plastic tool that'll get underneath. Let me try this. I don't really want to wreck the seal, but it pops them out. And usually when you try using these a second time, they don't work too good. Trying to get that little thing out. Then it's just tucked behind all this on this lip. And pull it down here. It's really a nice fitting seal. And then there's Phillips head screws. You can tell that it used to be glued on. This guy didn't use any glue, and it held in there pretty good. Then there's a channel that goes, you know, the weather strip goes into, and there's held with screws. And once you get that, you gotta use the plastic tool to just kind of loosen it. It's got adhesive on it, trying to keep it from getting water in there. And then there's screws that hold this chrome on. So you got to keep digging away, peeling away the layers. See, it's stuck with glue. Oh, did I break that? Oh, it's the stickum. Okay. There must be a lot of crap, you know, in the corner. Just a fine little screw. Chrome doesn't need any torque on it. And that comes apart, you know, overlapping. We were commenting on another one. These would all be rusted in. It was a Wisconsin car. But this is sealed pretty good. Hey, you don't want to buckle this. It's got stickum on it. There. We'll have to clean this with lacquer thinner, put a new, you know, stickum piece underneath behind it so it seals good after it's all painted. So you got to keep careful, so wherever you keep it, you don't want this getting bent. So there's a channel of rubbery goo in there.
It looks like this was all adhesive.
Yeah.
The guide piece is actually in this here.
Is it pop riveted?
Yeah. Some adhesive back here.
Oh, this comes apart. This two-piece. So you should tape them all together until you're going to put it back together so they don't get mixed up. This piece is just a trim piece. It might look like it's structure of the car. This is really lightweight by today's standards. Now you got these big giant posts in case of a rollover. Once you take this thing off, you'll see how flimsy this is.
A bigger hammer.
I don't know if it did anything. Yeah, it cracked it free. Okay, here she comes. So now you see it's just a channel this way and a channel that way. So it's like a T. That's the strength when you roll over. And I can show you this little trim piece. It has a little screw that goes in it at the bottom. And that's at the beginning. That's at the beginning here that goes over the top of this, and then the screw is underneath. The only way you can get at it is to peel this down. This is all gonna have to come off also. But I'm telling you, when you have an old car, and you got these, some of them are like felty, the really old ones, these are rubber, and these aren't in there, well, the window flops around, and this was just broken away, and then water is always coming down and it just fills up the bottom of your door. These have to be there to guide the window coming up. When you got a hard top like this and the glass has got to go in here, and you'll see this guide right here, the window goes into here and then it guides it in there. It's supposed to squish against that rubber seal. If that doesn't get set up proper, then you're driving along, you hit about 70 miles an hour and the wind is pulling the windows out and it's going makes a lot of noise and it's obnoxious. So a lot of times after a car's all painted, people just slap it back together really quick. These windows are really important. There's a adjustable felty guide on the inside that you gotta move up and down and get this glass to come in at the right angle. So when you guys are putting this on, it's only held with one screw. And there's a little blob of this, it's like a glue. It's sticky like a booger. And if you don't put that on, what happens is these things move around. You know, it's only on one screw. And you're constantly chasing after it to put it back down and get it right there. So remember that little blob of glue right there, because it will move around. So the difference between 1972 and 73 was dramatic. First of all, the 72 didn't have to worry about the insurance companies' decision on the bumpers having to withstand a 5-mile-per-hour impact crash. But the doors have this reinforcement beam. This is like a piece of guardrail. So when somebody T-bones you, their bumper ain't crushing you on the side. This is a lot of weight in this door. If you took this door off, we'll show you when we get these off. This adds a lot of strength, but it costs you in weight. The difference between a 72 and a 73 was like 900 extra pounds with all the stuff that they added on.